Nigerians and our wonderful viewers, welcome to another edition of Nigeria Today. Nigeria Today is a current affairs program that comes to you from the stable of the Living Television. This is where we discuss issues. And it's not just about discussing issues, trending issues, but we have wonderful analysts that will also look into most of those issues and that will also help you understand what is happening around the globe. And today we are going to look at the President-elect Bola Ahmed Tinubu on Thursday dampened the hope of advocates of a government of national unity. The lead counsel for the three states, Abdul Karim Mustafa Sam, disclosed that the CBN governor, only camouflaged to give an impression of compliance to the Supreme Court ruling. These and many more will be coming your way today. Keep watching Living TV. From my far left today, I have Comrade Nnamdi Lekwachi. Comrade Nnamdi Lekwachi is a historian and a political affairs analyst. Comrade, you're welcome to the program.
Thank you for having me. Good day, moderator. Good day, viewers.
After him, I have Barrister Chukwuemeka Wong. Barrister Chukwuemeka Wong is a practicing lawyer. He's also a security consultant. And above all, he is a human affairs analyst. Counsel, you're welcome to the program.
Thank you, moderator, and good day, viewers.
All right, today the President-elect Bola Ahmed Tinubu on Thursday dampened the hope of advocates of a government of national unity, favoring competence. He stated that his aim was higher than government of national unity and would rather seek a government of national competence in selecting his cabinet members and not choosing appointees based on religion. I want to start with you, Counsel. Tinubu has dismissed the fact about a government of national unity. He said he's going to base his government on competence. Let us look at, first and foremost, what is the difference between national unity and competence?
Well, national unity, the way I understand it, tends to include getting people from different areas and interest groups into the administration. This would, of course, entail taking into consideration geopolitical zones, religion. By geopolitical zones, you will also include ethnicity, and then religion, as well as maybe some other professional groups or interest groups that may have aided his emergence in one way or the other.
All right. I think that's good enough. And Comrade, now we are talking about a government of national unity. I think that is what most of these presidential candidates of various parties had preached about. Yeah. But Tinubu is now saying he is not going to work on the government of national unity, but competence.
Yes, I think national unity was actually inserted in our political lexicon by President Shagari of the Blessed Memory when he talked about national unity, the government of national unity after the election of 1979. I think also that Omar Musa Yar'Adua tried to talk about it, because if you remember the election that produced Omar Musa Yar'Adua, the 2007 election, was actually condemned by him as being flawed. So he now talked about national unity, which will involve every interest group, like Council did say, capture every religious group, every interest group, in fact, all stakeholders to be represented and given a sense of belonging in that government. But now, if you talk about competence and character, it simply means that somebody who is qualified will actually be given consideration to man position in government. And I wouldn't know whether that will not be undermining two things. One, when they say Emi Lokon, it is my turn, our Lokon, it is our turn. Whether we are now shifting from Emi Lokon to competence, and it's beautiful if you ask me. Then again, the Constitution of Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999 as amended, talks about federal character principle in section 14 precisely. So I wouldn't know whether the president-elect is trying to move away from federal character to talk about competence, or because I heard the word national competence. Right. So if you look at it, he has been sounding conciliatory, if you ask me, because he said even in Lagos that he has no candidates. For those who were joking for the Senate President post, he also said he has no favorite candidate.
All right. Council, talking about competence, is there any geopolitical zone in this country that wouldn't have a competent person, no matter what we are talking about? Because if you, from the way he sounds, it looks as if this government is going to be one-sided.
I wouldn't want to see the government as being one-sided. But just like Comrade had drawn our attention to the fact that the ground norm, the Constitution has provided, you must have at least one minister from every state in Nigeria. When you are through with 36 ministers, if you want to make them 50, you can begin then to look for 14 from any other place. You can bundle the remaining 14 from one place and get it. My stint at a certain level revealed to me that there are certain parts of this nation that when you expose opportunities based on competence, they would be unable to fill it. I wouldn't want to start mentioning the names of such states here, whereby you give, you set an exam and you give other states cutoff to be 86, 90%, and you give less than 10% to that particular state, and yet if you are allocating 5 people per state, they wouldn't even be able to get up to 2. I'm talking of something I witnessed. And so if you begin to do that, and for example, you say the person must be, I'm just giving an example. If you say the person must be a PhD holder or a professor, minimum qualification, there are some states that would bring 50 professors ready to give you. States like Ondo, Osun, Oyo, Abia, Ekiti, Imo, Anambra would be prepared to deliver up to 200 professors to you. But when you begin to go to other parts of the country, I wouldn't mention names of those states, you may not find, may not find more than 1 or 2 PhD holders, assuming you even find. I know of a state in Nigeria where it would be difficult, almost impossible to get even a master's degree holder.
Okay, comrade. Now, talking about this competence, a government of competence, and that of national unity, and then what do you think our people want to understand in this?
Yes, I think
Council has said it's not one-sided.
Yes, Council has said, but I think if you talk about competence and national unity, you can actually find competence everywhere, but it depends on the number or what you are looking for. Yes. If you are to look for, I'm not talking about people who have one degree or the other. I'm talking about in the numbers or in the spread. If you are to go by that, you see that some states are favored, others are not favored, and that is why you have the educationally disadvantaged zones or areas. I would be more direct to mention them. That is in the north. understand? That's where you have the educationally disadvantaged states. And that is why after WAEC, or you need to see the cutoff will be so discriminatory. But when positions are to be shared, you understand, in government, they will get more, including boss of government, including parastatals and the rest of them. These things are in the public domain. But if Tinubu is saying competence, I wouldn't know what that actually purports. Because if you say competence, it may actually be open to suspect, where you say, is there a particular group of the country that is more competent than the others? You understand? And that is where I am looking at it. But if you say competence to the extent that it is in line with the federal character principle, that is where everybody will have a sense of belonging. But let us also understand that there are appointments that are discretionary, in fact, that are seen as the discretion of the president. He makes it without minding, without following the federal character principle. And that is why President Muhammad Buhari has been criticized or thrown under the bus for appointing most people from the north. If you go to the oil sector and the Nimasa and the rest of them, it is mostly populated by people from the north. So I think Tinubu should look out for people who are competent. You understand? Not much about their tribes, because his campaign trail and then candidacy has been given many interpretations as tribal, Emilokon, our Lokon, and the rest of them. So it's now to look broad.
All right, Council, just in few seconds, how would you assess this current administration in terms of competence and national unity?
Sadly, most of the people appointed by President Muhammad Buhari have demonstrated gross incompetence. Let me, as a security personnel and consultant, let me approach it from that perspective. The security chiefs under his watch have delivered crass incompetence all through, and yet, because of the nepotism exhibited by our Oga chief driver, he has held on to them. Even in defiance of the provisions of the Constitution. If you have, let's say, 15 security chiefs in a nation, and about 13 of them come from one ethnic group, then you are incompetent yourself. Not only that, the appointment negates the tenets of the Constitution, they have also failed to deliver. Severally, the security architecture has been condemned, and Mr. President has been urged to review this, but he has always refused. And when anything happens, he will tell you, I'm not aware.
So this current administration is neither competent,
no.
Government of national
They've
unity.
scored zero almost in almost all their appointments. Only in few areas would you say that less than 10%. Okay. Less than 10%. That's my personal view anyway.
I would say below 10%.
Yes, less than that. Less than 10%.
Because you don't call 97% versus 5%.
That defies mathematics.
Projection unity. It is not near unity. And you can't talk about competence where you have ministers who don't even have NYC certificates, people who don't even have certificate being employed by or being appointed.
But they have the affidavits.
Yeah, because the person appointing them, the person appointing them also doesn't have certificate. He has affidavit, and the Supreme Court has said that affidavit is superior to certificate. So we'll go by that.
If you talk about competence and character, capacity, and national unity, they are nowhere near.
All right, because of what we have today, the lead counsel for the three states, Abdul Hakim Mustafa San, disclosed on Thursday that the press statement released by the CBN, in which it directed banks to accept the old Naira note, was a mere camouflage to give the impression of compliance.
Yes.
As a result, Kaduna, Kogi, and Zamfara states have finalized arrangement to initiate contempt proceedings against Attorney General of the Federation, Abubakar Malami, and Abubakar Malami San, and the CBN Governor Godwin Emefiele, despite the Monday night directive to commercial banks to accept and dispense the old Naira notes. You know, even yesterday, one of the bankers, one of the officials of one of the major banks in this city asked me, said, even as we speak, except what they said on the Emefiele, the CBN governor, Godwin Emefiele, has not dispatched no letter whatsoever written asking them to do this. That they are just doing it because of the people. You know,
that is not true. That is
They've not written anything. I'm telling you what the banker just yesterday.
That banker, with due respect to who
there's been no letter from the CBN to any bank.
There may not have been internal communication.
No, that one we displayed. The date for that's an old one. Even he explained it to me. That is why the date is at the footnote of that writer.
Yeah.
Not at the.
Let's gentlemen.
So, but let's
be factual. Let us
be
factual. I have personally collected on at least 2 different occasions since that directive old notes.
No, they are giving, even yesterday I collected.
And I have also been spending.
Yes.
So that how else? The CBN is not a commercial bank.
It's
the
not.
CBN does not bank with the
commercial banks take orders from the CBN.
Yes.
Good.
And the commercial banks are now dispensing.
Except what the Supreme Court said, that Emefiele had not written them. That's what they are saying. And that even as we speak, there is no this new currency. There is none in most of the banks here in Aba.
Are you talking of the new currency?
No, I'm talking about it, but because
let us put things in proper perspective. The emphasis has been on the old notes. The old notes are back in circulation, and that is what the Supreme Court ordered.
The Supreme Court said that this new note should not be coexist with the old. That's what
the problem. Also understand why the states went to court and what was their claim. Their claim was that principally the old notes should remain legal tender, and that the introduction of the new ones should be side by side and shouldn't just take effect immediately and you jettison the old ones. The Supreme Court in principle agreed with them. The totality of their case is let the 2 continue, and the 2 are continuing today. We are spending the 2. So
did you get any of the new notes yesterday when you said you collected the old one?
If you want, I will give you. I have even in my pocket.
You got new.
I have both.
Let me see it. I have to touch it and know it's the new one.
Yes, I have. You can see.
Let me show to the.
No, I think the camera can zoom in and ensure that. Yes, I have.
Are you sure this is the new note?
Yes.
Let's see.
That's the new note. And I also have the old ones.
All right, comrade. What was you had the council to the district states said that what Emefiele did, they have now finalized arrangement, arrangements to initiate contempt proceedings on the door. Yeah. Because what Emefiele did was just after giving those directives, it was just a camouflage to make it look as if he has complied with the Supreme Court order. Yes. Okay. But there's not been direct order from the CBN to most of these banks.
Yes. Before I proceed, I will say this. I have no regard for the governors of the 3 states involved, although they may be pursuing a legitimate cause. But I want to say this. You see, these were states where palliatives were ordered. The 3 states of Kaduna, Kogi,
Zamfara.
were places where these 3 principal states now taking on the CBN and its policy were states where palliative materials were ordered from citizens.
And they also known for disobeying court orders.
And now
they are now the ones complaining.
And the RFI had actually detained, you also remember the case of exactly what RFI did. Even the author, the writer, Dadiyati, how RFI would be find calls or that and keep people in detention. But that's by the way. You see,
now he wants court order to be obeyed, but he wouldn't obey.
Now you see, yes, I believe that there was a contempt on the part of the CBN because the release we also came, I think, on the 13th, around Monday, on the 13th of this month, either 12th or 13th of this month.
Yes.
And before that time, Governor Soludo had actually preempted the CBN to announce to Anambra people that he had spoken with the CBN governor and he had assured him that following their meeting, you understand, at top officials of commercial banks, that they had resolved to accept the old note. It took 2 days. So those release came on Saturday. Then on Monday or so, we now saw this very memo. And then again, the presidency or the president has to deny itself. You understand? Deny any form of involvement. Had to absolve itself, saying it's not the reason. Yes, to disobey. Now, Emefiele before that time had been saying that he is standing. In fact, he was standing on his own conviction that the old Naira note ceased to be legal tender. You understand? He said it.
Yes.
At least a week before he now contradicted himself. So I think that is a negligence, and it shouldn't be that way.
All right.
But the people who are fighting this just cause, how just are they too?
All right. Okay. Not just about that. Council, do you think talking about this initiating a contempt proceedings against the AGF, that is the Attorney General of the Federation, and the CBN Governor Emefiele, by these three states, represented by their
Attorney General,
by their attorney, Abdul Hakim Mustafa San, do you think it's
committal proceedings are quasi-criminal, and when you are pursuing prosecution of a criminal offense, the standard of proof required is beyond reasonable doubt. It is going to be difficult in the circumstance today to get any court to convict the CBN governor, I mean as at today, for disobedience to any court order. The important thing is that if the CBN is able to show that they have moved out cash, both old and new, to the banks, and in turn that they are also accepting from the commercial banks, that's the end of the matter. That is all that is required of them.
As if there is a proof.
And it's going to be easy to establish because, like I earlier on observed, you come out, the banks are dispensing old notes alongside new ones, unlike before. The fact that you, Mr. Moderator, you've not gotten the new one, go back to your bank and check. I don't know which bank you are using. You don't need to mention their name. But my own bank has been giving both. We are getting both and also paying back both and using both.
Well, after this program,
you might need to review you might need to review.
You tell me your bank. Because for this son to talk about, these initiating these contempt proceedings, I'm sure something happened. And that is,
he hasn't gotten
two banks.
He hasn't gotten.
I went to hear in Abbas said, except for this court, order, the Supreme Court order, that there be no write-up as usual from the CBN.
That's not to be, because you are supposed to have internal memo.
The internal memo, yes. So
they wouldn't communicate. CBN would not communicate to the bank manager here. They will communicate to the CEO.
And
of the bank.
The CEO will also let them know.
It is not the duty of the CEO. So let them query their internal communication mechanism.
The Institute of Economic and Peace rated indigenous people of Biafra IPOB number 10 deadliest terror groups.
Sorry, you said the name of the organization is what?
Is a Institute of Economic and Peace. Is a Nigerian organization here, though it is in line with also some one or two foreign agencies, rating the IPOB as the number 10 deadliest terror group, he said in the world. So, but the indigenous people of Biafra has dismissed the IEP Global Terrorism Index report of 2022 as a conspiracy by the federal government of Nigeria and some other foreign agencies to blackmail and demonize IPOB. On Thursday, the IPOB's Media and Publicity Secretary, Emma Powerful, said it was disappointing that a reputable organization such as IEP would descend as low to publish a fictional and inaccurate account in their 2022 Terrorism Index report. Council, IPOB, you're an Igbo person.
Apart from that, look, I'm also into security.
Okay.
Do not forget. So let me... the name of the organization you referred to, in terms of reputation, I'm not aware of it.
Okay.
That particular organization, because they are not It's not among the ones that, in the course of my training, that is reputable for coming up with factual situations. Let me state for the record, I'm not a member of IPOB. I'm not their spokesperson. I am proudly Igbo from the southeast. I am proudly Igbo any day from the southeast. I do not deny that. However, for any organization, especially Nigeria-based, to begin to group the IPOB among the terrorist organizations in Nigeria, not to talk of the world, I would want to know where they placed the Mieti Allah, that particular organization. I wouldn't know from your records. You have what you call the Global Terrorism Index. That index is not generated by this organization that is bereft of any reputation, as far as I am concerned, my personal view, of course. So I do not know the yardstick, the basis, the indices on which they arrived at their fictional rating of the IPOB. That is, their rating whatsoever is most prejudiced, and of course, if somebody accuses the government of having a hand in it, I wouldn't be surprised. The Global Terrorism Index is generated based on indices that are standardized, based on their yardstick for measuring the Global Terrorism Index, the way you attack soft targets, the frequency of the attacks, the nature of the targets, the severity also of these are the things that would enable you. Now, how many times have the IPOB been linked to kidnappings and bombing of railway lines? How many times have they been associated with banditry? How many times have they been associated with blowing up military cantonments and bases? The ones that are doing it in Nigeria, you wouldn't classify them as terrorists. And then the people are agitating for freedom. The people are agitating for self-determination. You try to disdain them and classify them as a terrorist group simply because they are trying to assert and say, look, either you allow us to be one with you, afford us the hand you've given to everybody, or let us go. You wouldn't want them to be. You wouldn't want to let them go. So what do you want them to do? What do you want them to do?
All right, comrade.
Yes.
You are also an Igbo man, I'm sure, and you may not be a member of the IPOB, and then but you know about the IPOB.
Yes.
And then, do you think this is one of the pranks to make sure Nnamdi Kanu remains in detention, having been set free by a court of competent jurisdiction?
Yes. It may not even be far from it. You understand? If I'm to talk about IPOB here, we may even exhaust the time we have.
Please don't exhaust.
Because, you see, in the approach or in the course towards attainment of a particular status, let's say independent status, or let me say a sovereign state status, Nnamdi Kanu may not have deployed the best of tactics, you understand? But that does not really mean that his activities could be likened to the one of all these Abanati, these guys who are leading ISWAP, ISIS, and the rest of them, or ISIS West African province, ISWAP, and the rest of them. But I want to come in this way. The first time the federal government of Nigeria proscribed IPOB, in fact, the first time the southeastern governors proscribed IPOB, and then the federal government declared it a terrorist group, they didn't follow the right channel. Later, they had to come back and use a court. That's by the way. Again, after that declaration or after that tag, the governments of Britain, United States came out to say IPOB is not a terrorist group. Now, I will tell you something. The terrorism being tagged or being associated with IPOB today even began before IPOB went underground. It began when IPOB had no single rifle. It began when IPOB had no stone to throw. It began when IPOB only just was just about people carrying banners,
agitating.
And let me tell you, the cause IPOB is fighting under public international law is guaranteed. I am a history
self-determination. I am right to self-determination.
I am a history and international relations person, and I can tell you that in international parlance, domestic laws or municipal laws, you can't put them over international laws. So what IPOB is doing, what they are calling for, is what happens everywhere, and is what even is conventional. It's not unless there is a negative approach to it. But the cause itself is different from Islamist fundamentalism. It's different from what you have to overrun the Nigerian state. You understand? These persons are saying we want to recognize Nigeria, but we want to pull out. You understand? We want to separate from Nigeria. It's a separatist movement. But other people are saying we want to succeed the Nigerian state. That's what you call state succession. I want to succeed the Nigerian state and plant a government, and the Islamist government is there.
The parallel administration.
Not even a parallel. They want to collapse this one. You remember they are at the point they even were able to tell Jonathan to convert to Islam. And these are the things we are not even amplifying.
And they almost took over Abuja.
And these are the things we are not mainstreaming.
They attacked Abuja.
So I'm not trying to hold forth for IPOB. Everybody in the southeast sleeps peacefully. But in the north, communities have been sacked by Boko Haram elements. Yes. Farms, people no longer go to farm, you understand? I understand that. And I will say this, you see, what even led to IPOB having the ESM branch or the militant branch was the MNA massacre, where these persons converged to have their meeting. The Nigerian military went there and spread bullets on them. It happened in my alma mater in Abaya National High School. The first time it happened, and I was there. People gathered to pray. None of them bearing arms. The federal government, in fact, when President Muhammad Buhari came to Al Jazeera, he was asked whether he wanted to see the clip. He said no. But Amnesty International, many other outlets, international group, Human Rights Watch, we are indicting the Nigerian military. You understand? So I am not here to say that everything IPOB has done, the declaration of seat and so everything is right. But then what I'm saying is that what we are seeing today, in most cases, could be the creation of the federal government. And I'll tell you this, you see, a certain bishop was kidnapped somewhere here. He said the kidnappers were Fulani headers. And in
collusion with the
Nigerian military.
Yes.
What has happened? Nothing has happened. Many things happened. In fact, my own neighbor was kidnapped, and he told me that the people who kidnapped him were Fulani speaking. In fact, Fulani speaking lots, and they were threatening him, saying, "You people think anyway." It's quite unfortunate.
All right, we are going to go on a very short break, and then when we come back, and Nigeria Today will continue. Don't go away. Keep watching Living TV. We'll be back shortly. I'm glad you're still there watching your favorite television, the Living Television, and also your program, Nigeria Today. Moving ahead, Atiku Abubakar, the presidential candidate of the PDP in the just concluded 2023 presidential election, has mocked President-elect Bola Ahmed Tinubu over his quest for Joe Biden, the President of the United States of America, to congratulate him. Atiku said if he had won the election properly, then they would have congratulated him. And there is no how an overall winner will be asking people to congratulate him. That these things are done out of will. Council.
Yes. If Emilokon had, sorry, what's his name? But
Bola Ahmed didn't.
Yes. If he had won the election, he wouldn't have been going to visit people to say, please endorse me. I have won. I came to tell you that I won the election. No. He would have been sitting at home. People would have been coming to him to pay homage. He wouldn't have needed to laminate and frame the certificate of return and be carrying it about up and down to show people. Just
but he said that is the most
the only certificate he has, because he has not been able to show us any academic certificate. So that's the first time he's showing us any certificate. But beyond the bitter humor, beyond the very bitter humor, it is quite sad that such is the case. He is begging people, lobbying people to recognize him. It is sad that even his own supporters in Nigeria have not been able to come up to congratulate him, to felicitate with him, because they are more worried than he is. They are scared of the petitions in court that don't celebrate here, though this victory might be short-lived. And I think the victory is going to be short-lived. That is also why these foreign leaders are equally reluctant to congratulate anybody, especially, of course, they had their observers on ground. So you're not going to tell them much about the election that they do not already know firsthand. They know how he got there. They know that INEC messed up. They know that INEC deceived the Nigerian populace. They know that this man did not win free and fair based on results generated from the field. So is he going to use a chain to drag Joe Biden to congratulate him? Joe Biden will congratulate him when and if Joe Biden feels like congratulating, whenever he wants to. You're not going to force him to congratulate anybody. Leave off the case of Britain. Britain is responsible for what we're experiencing in Nigeria today. Historically, if you go through our history, how we even got here, at every given point in time, anytime this nation has had a misfortune as a nation, the hand of Britain has always played out in it. So I'm not surprised that Britain has congratulated, even though they gave with the right hand and withdrew with the left. They congratulated but said, make sure you go and address the areas of concern. Those areas of concern are those things that have robbed the supposed victory of any legitimacy. There's none to it.
All right, comrade, before we come to you, comrade, remember our phone line is open now, 091-682-84994. 091-682-84994. You can call us, tell us your name, where you're calling us from, make your contributions or ask questions based on what we are talking about. Comrade, back to you. You had it, and well, we say it's mockery. That is what the papers called it, that Atiku Abubakar is mocking Ahmed.
It's not mockery. It's not mocking him.
He's saying the truth.
Something in public domain. But Joe Biden, up to this moment in time, up to this material in time, is yet to come the assumed, okay, the winner of the 25th February election in the most populous
black nation,
Africa. You can say most powerful nation in Africa, and then most populous black country in the world. America has interest here, and whether or not Tinubu is elected president, we do not stop America from pursuing its legitimate interest with Nigeria. And we don't just have embassy to embassy relations with America. We have what you call consular relations with America. If someone here is marrying an American, it is done on consular level. You understand? And then it allows you to have program of exchange like cultural exchange, sports, other things, scholarship, and the rest of them. It's not just ambassador, and we are not using another embassy to represent America. We have an American embassy, just like you have the British High Commission. But I will explain this. In diplomacy, there is what you call recognition. A state recognizes a state. A state can also recognize a government. But there are times
or withhold recognition also.
Yes, and there is what you call de jure recognition, which allows a president to say, congratulations to you, O President-elect of Nigeria. I look forward to working with you, and I'm happy with the process that brought you on board. There is what you call de facto recognition. De facto recognition may be there is a war now, and a rebel group or a group that is not yet a state, like Palestine now. But I wouldn't say they are a rebel group. They are a group fighting to pull away from Israel or to have their own state. It's now being given recognition to enter into negotiation, even at the UN level, or a head of state may visit another country. In that case, there is what you call implied recognition too. Then there is what you call non-recognition status. That is what is at play here now. Non-recognition status is when we say action. Inaction is action. Yes, you've been elected, but we do not recognize the process that brought you on board, but we can do business with you. It doesn't come with consequences, except when it is multilateral. And what do I mean? When international agencies like the United Nations and some of them are involved, saying this is the pariah state. But in this case, it is a unilateral thing. So I wouldn't know why the Nigerian supporters of Tinubu are weeping. It doesn't take anything from them. The meaning is that America is saying, we do not understand the process that brought you to power. Even when their ambassador has actually congratulated Tinubu, you see the president has not done so. Unlike where in Britain, where Rishi Sunak, the Prime Minister of Britain, congratulated Tinubu, albeit he inserted something at the foot of that. But in 2007, I will tell you something. President Ahmed won an election conducted by Morisi. America placed non-recognition status on Omar Musa Yar'Adua. Do you know what happened? He came to a platform of the G8, now G7, after the expulsion of Russia. He said, the election that brought me to power is flawed. America removed that tag on him and said, can we talk business? So I think what they should be doing now is to be looking inward. And you've not had the rest of it. See, all the persons involved in one ugly activity, including as admitted to by the INEC chairman himself, that they have been compromised, that the beavers have been bypassed. You will see when America will roll out names. You remember in this country, not just the Supreme Court judges who pronounced the judgment of
yes,
becoming the first.
Yes.
They wanted to travel abroad, and the visa of their PAs were approved, and their own not approved.
So with communication in writing that this is the reason why we are denying you visa.
Yes, that is diplomacy.
So that don't be deceived. Don't have no doubt as to why you were denied visa.
Against Omar Musa Yar'Adua, until he was able to come out boldly and say this election and went back and meant business. Inaugurated the UWES committee reform, the report of which is still gathering dust.
All right, that's it. I'm sure our viewers are enjoying the analysis. Now, the national chairman of APC, Abdullahi Adamu, on Monday evening admitted that last month's presidential and parliamentary elections were not perfect. The INEC has come under heavy criticism within and outside Nigeria over the operational flaws and alleged irregularities in the elections. And now this is the national chairman of the party council, and we remember last week also the INEC boss himself came out also to say that the election was sabotaged. And this is the national chairman of the APC, the people that have produced
brandishing the framed certificate of return.
Of return.
Yes.
And then has also accepted, just on Monday, that this election was not perfect.
Yes. Let me start by thanking Comrade for taking us down the line of history. That's his area. And of course, what he has reeled out is true. this should now speak volumes to my own constituency, the legal profession, that it is not in doubt any longer that the elections were flawed. The process, we may not necessarily be concerned about who eventually got declared. No, anybody could, but once your premise is right, then your conclusion must be right. It's a simple principle in logic. If your foundation is faulty, you go and do a foundation to carry a bungalow, and then all of a sudden you start putting up a 3-5 story building on it. You're only waiting for implosion. You're looking for trouble. This would now be up to the judiciary to take all these things into consideration. Their lordships, the learned justices of the Court of Appeal and later the Supreme Court, are Nigerians. They have relations. Many of them are on social media. They belong to platforms. The only thing is that sometimes you may not know, they might use another name to be there, but they read. They listen to news. They listen to the TV, the radio, they read newspapers and everything. They are fully aware what is happening, or what happened in this nation. And I would expect the legal team of the petitioners to do a good job. At the end of the day, remember, the court will say, from the evidence before me or before us. So if you have all the evidence at home and you do not adduce credible, admissible evidence in court, you wouldn't blame anybody.
Okay, comrade.
Yes.
You added, sometime the Court of Appeal, passed the judgment, and in fact, almost the people of the Southeasterners rejoiced. The Attorney General of the Federation was not happy with that.
Who is known, he has a reputation for disobeying court orders. Sorry for that interjection,
yes.
but
then he was not happy with that.
Yes.
And what we had later, in less than 7 days, that these 3-member, justices of that Court of Appeal, they were all sent out to various places immediately because of that judgment.
Yes.
And don't you think, with what is happening, irrespective of these glaring evidences by the national chairman of the party, APC, and the INEC boss, who had openly accepted that this election, the election was sabotaged. Don't you think that there will be fear here and there, especially when it comes to the judiciary?
Yes, I think I wouldn't say fear, but I would say concerns. There are now concerns in various quarters and circles, including the judiciary, because I am aware that the Supreme Court, the apex court, is safe, and then the profession, the civil profession, is not happy with the kind of interpretation people are making or people are giving to each. So, and I have seen few releases trying to talk about this. You understand? Even the ones given to NBA at a point, council can attest that yes, the Nigerian Bar Association, some members were not even happy. You understand? With certain pronouncements of
by the president, yes. He has received the knocks.
He has received the knocks. So,
and people told him clearly, we are just echoing your own personal view. It does not represent the view of the association.
Yes, thank you so much. So he speaks to something. Nigeria is gradually moving, and we may not know. But this morning, I was with my neighbor. We were searching the news when INEC said they were prepared again for tomorrow's election. We just broke out. We started laughing. We didn't know how it happened. Hysterically, uncontrollably, we started laughing. I said, "Why are you laughing, Efani?" He said, "Why?
Just like I'm laughing now."
Yes.
And even the moderator is also laughing.
It's become a wounded statement by INEC. Wounded, WONTED. Every time we are prepared. On the 9th of February, they were 90% prepared. They let us get it up to 95. But we now saw that logistics could not arrive on time. Neither would. In fact, we now saw that some of the ad hoc staff, so-called, could not even handle the beavers. We now saw that the beavers needed gold to be accessed. We also saw that there were...
Somebody said yes, they were really prepared.
There were things I called systemic, not technical. You can't say it is glitch. You can't say it is a hitch. That you didn't come to polling center with sufficient ink. That it's systematic. It's systemic. It's something institutional with INEC. You came to polling center with incomplete ballot against the number of persons on your register. So to me, I think we are looking to maybe an improvement, as I have said. But the chairman of the APC coming to acknowledge that is also another thing to it. Remember that before now that the PDP gave a testimony saying that in its own situation room, the party saw that Obi may have scored up to 800,000 votes in Lagos State. And even PDP admitted that in Imo, that they admitted, yeah. The PDP admitted.
Hello. Yeah, living television, Nigeria Today. Tell us your name and where you're calling us from.
Good afternoon, sir.
Hello?
Hello, good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon. Your name and where you're calling us from?
My name is Uzo, calling you from Ebonyi State.
From Ebonyi State?
I'm talking about Ahmed.
Okay, Ahmed, go ahead.
You know, the man, he didn't win any election, even here in Abakari. That day, I was in the that day. I know, all these things we are doing just for pressure. But at the end of the process, we claim somebody like to be in the back. Because yes, I'm not happy, even to the election. Our people are saying that they are not going to vote because the one that they didn't do it well. So even in my local government, we have been complaining people are saying that they are not coming out to vote. The other one, the one didn't come. So they know that they didn't win any election. So I'm even encouraging our people. Let them come out and vote. This is the protection. So let us join everybody that is helpful. That's my contribution.
Thank you, my brother. You said you are calling from where you said?
Hello?
You said you are calling from Abakaleke? Okay, Abakaleke.
Yeah. I think it's one of the things we have to make. You see, it's not about party. People should be free tomorrow to go and vote.
The people are already disenchanted. They've lost faith. Yes. The people have lost faith. They don't want to go and vote.
We are being treated to the fact that only 28% of the registered voters came out to vote in the last presidential election. We are calling it crowd. We are even calling it large crowd. Now 28%, not up to 30. Now, do you know what INEC has done, especially to the confidence of and the Nigerians?
So,
hello. Tell us your name, where you're calling us from, and then your contribution. Yes, go ahead. Your name and where you're calling us from.
Yes, I'm calling from Nasarawa State.
From
Nasarawa
State. Go ahead. Okay, go ahead, please.
Yes, the contribution I want to make is concerning tomorrow's election.
Okay.
Don't you think that what happened during the presidential will say repeat itself for tomorrow's election?
We don't pray so, sir.
You see, it's like Nigeria are not respecting the rule of law. What the INEC said that they were going to transmit the results electronically. But what we saw was a different thing. So, in fact, this is stopping most of us. It's stopping us, and that is discouraging us from going to vote tomorrow.
Please try to vote.
Try and encourage everybody to vote. Let us still do our own, play our own part, and hope for the best, my brother. Don't let what happened at the last election discourage us.
Okay, sir.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, I'm happy. Thank you.
God bless you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. You see, I was saying that, and council, you understand. INEC. Sorry,
look at the damage. Look at the damage done by the activity of INEC in just one day.
And then the worst is that, see, the problem is not even the damage alone. There was no control for the damage done. INEC could not come out and tell Nigerians. We understood what we now understand that there were problems. But see what we are going to do to improve. INEC just said we understand there are problems. No. So to an extent it looked condescending. And I was saying something, the psyche, they believe young Nigerians.
Hello, Living TV, Nigeria Today. Tell us your name and where you're calling us from, please.
Good afternoon. My name is Walter, Westman, calling from River State.
Okay.
I'm talking in respect of this presidential election.
Yes.
I'm a member of the All Progressive Party.
Okay.
Can you hear me clear?
We are hearing. Go ahead.
I'm a member of the All Progressive Party.
Okay.
I'm a member of PDP. I'm a deputy coordinator, Youth River State. But I have to be realistic. I hope you are with me.
Yes.
I have to be realistic. This election is being given to somebody that does not merit it. I'm a member of the EPC, but I have to be realistic.
God bless you, sir.
We should correct our electoral act. We are not behaving well. The chairman did not behave well. They should make Nigerians to trust them. Like now, I'm not allowed to vote today. How can I go and vote because my vote doesn't count? Hello?
We are listening.
My vote is not counting. So I cannot go out to vote again. Some of us will take this activity for personal uses, like going to bank, doing this one or two things. But I am telling you today, I am not going outside to cast votes anymore because our vote does not count.
My brother, please don't allow what happened to discourage you. Also appeal to everybody. That's what we are doing here. We are trying to appeal to everybody. Don't lose hope.
Yes.
Don't lose hope. Nigeria is a work in progress. It has taken time to even get to where we are. We are continuing. We haven't arrived yet. We continue to make progress.
Yes, I think an election that could actually produce a
rider. Just have to express my feelings.
Thank you.
Because we don't have anybody to trust anymore.
Please. Don't
have faith in this nation.
Don't give up,
people who were not from the establishment, people Okada riders are winning election. Remember that too.
Let me tell you here I have a problem.
Yes, class teachers are winning election. Yes.
You know, when they are talking about, it's like we are not the APC, but we are talking about the people come and rule. This is how that. Why are they shaping them from Nigeria? I'm not an Igbo man. I am particularly from Bayelsa State. But if this man narrative, we should give it to him. That is my problem. We should give it to him. Thank you.
Okay, my brother. We encourage you to go ahead. Don't give up. Don't give up. Quitters don't win and winners don't quit. So let's keep our faith on. Remember, this person is of APC in
River State.
Hello. Please tell us your name, where you're calling us from, and then your contribution. This is Living Television, Nigeria Today. All right. So this man that called is from APC. Our last caller is from APC in River State. And see how we beat it. He's not an Igbo man.
Yeah.
What he said, and then
he voted according to his conscience, and he didn't reflect.
Yes, and the thing didn't reflect, and that is why If not that is encouraged here now, he said he's not going to vote again.
Yes, I said
that they should hand over the winner to the right person.
To hand the mandate over to the right
person.
You see, I didn't say here that INEC figures are doing something.
Hello, tell us your name and where you're calling us from. Maybe network. Go ahead, come on.
Yes, I did say here that the psyche.
Hello, tell us your name and where you're calling us from. Hello. Well, we've lost that. I'm sure his network. Let's keep moving. So the last caller is from Rio and hello, your name and where you're calling us from. Hello? Well, yeah, you were saying something.
Yes.
He is an APC person, yes, from Rivers State.
The calls are coming down.
Hello, tell us your name and where you're calling us from.
Hello, sir.
Yeah, go ahead. Your name, please.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Your name. Tell us your name.
My name is Harry.
Okay. Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Benin City, sir.
Okay, from Benin. Go ahead. Go ahead. We are listening.
I said I'm calling from Benin City. My name is Harry.
Yo, Harry, please go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
We are hearing you.
What I want to say is that I heard you guys talking about the election that will be taking place tomorrow, right?
Yes.
The thing is, we calling out to vote right now, you understand? I'm discouraged. I don't have that motion to vote again. Because we voted on 25th of February, you understand? The thing that was saying, you understand, to be giving, I wasn't giving. It seems like our vote is no longer in Nigeria, and it's really hurting me. So, why is it that after the stress, you understand, you come out, vote, and at last your vote won't count? It's hurting me.
That's why we're encouraging you to go ahead. Winners don't quit and quitters don't win. Let's do the much we can and leave the rest to God. God is still in Nigeria. He's still in Nigeria.
Labour Party. People are discouraged of vote. That's just the truth. Let's be realistic.
We appreciate, my brother, we appreciate that people, Nigerians, are not happy, and certainly what happened on 25th of February has seared the psyche of many people.
I'm not hearing my voice in this living series.
Yeah, we are hearing you. We are hearing you. If you can hear us, we are hearing you very well.
Okay. Let them do the right thing by giving our power back to Peter Obi of Labour Party. Then Nigeria will be happy again. Want to vote again.
Yes, sir. The matter is in court now. Now, for the one of tomorrow,
we are angry.
We know the one of tomorrow. Still go out and do your part and leave the rest to God. The people are just. This is going to create voter party by tomorrow. Definitely. The people are.
Hello, tell us your name and where you're calling us from. Hello, your name, please, and where you're calling us from. Okay. Go ahead, we can hear you. Go ahead, we are hearing you.
You are on air, my brother from Abakaliki. Yes, we can hear you.
Hello?
Yeah, go ahead.
Outside the manually collected, that it should be
that the manually collected result will be announced?
Yes. Manually collected result, just like what happened in the previous election, that the federal position should be announced.
Well, that is a decision for the court to take. The case of the presidential election is already before the Court of Appeal, sitting as the Presidential Election Tribunal. We wouldn't like to comment so much on it, on that aspect that is before the court. It is now for the court to look at the facts that will be presented before it and come to a conclusion whether the result will be annulled and then the parties sent back for rerun, or whether to declare a particular person, maybe another person, the winner based on what is before it, or whether to uphold the result already declared by INEC. So these are about the three options that are before the court. At the end of the day, the court will proceed on one. That's what I believe, sir.
And you guys should also be very happy, knowing fully well that the people, the justices of these courts, they are also Nigerians. They were also there during the election of the February 25, and I'm sure they also know what they are doing. And the guy in there. Hello? Network. So let us have confidence also once again in the judiciary and believe in God that hello?
Hello, good afternoon to you all.
Good afternoon.
Welcome, sir.
Your name and where you're calling out from, sir?
Okay, I'm Austin from Delta State.
From?
Delta State.
Okay, Delta. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Delta, Austin from Delta State.
Yes, we've heard you. Go ahead, sir.
Yes, I am actually an obedient person. Like I support Labour Party.
Okay.
So, and before now, I don't used to vote. But seeing the personality of Tinubu and his record, I was moved, you know. And we worked, and even in my polling unit, Labour Party swept everywhere. I am actually based in Port Harcourt, but I had to travel to my state to perform my civic responsibility. But I did that, promising said that if my vote never did not count, I will no longer vote again. And we are preparing for another election by tomorrow. And I am giving it the last trial. If at the end of tomorrow's election and INEC fails us again, I will not have anything to do with this election that Nigeria will conduct any longer. Seriously, because they are taking us for a ride. Except we are going to have laws that are going to be strictly adhered to. That if INEC president fails Nigeria in discharging his responsibility, he can be sentenced to jail. Then we country that is operational, because it's like we are living in a bad land. They don't obey laws and all. Thank you.
Thank you, my brother. Thank God you've accepted to vote again, irrespective of what happened. Yes, thank you that you're going to vote again. Let's continue voting, believing God for the best. So you had it.
Yeah, voter that is actually
had to travel from Rivers back to Delta
to go and vote. Only for him to be disappointed, like you also in the face of cashless policy.
When there was no
after that silence,
man came back from Lagos to Abahe.
Many people came back from
overseas.
Yes.
Hello, tell us your name and where you're calling us from. Hello.
Hello?
Tell us your name and where you're calling us from. That's Sarawak State. What's the name, please? The name.
Your name.
That's ended. Oh, Nasarawa is a little far. So although we are almost ending the program, and these calls keep coming in.
Yes, yes, I think like I was saying, people brave the odds, not just of inclement weather alone. When it was raining, I was in a polling unit where I observed people singing under the rain just to vote. in Lagos and other places, people did not just come out to vote. They came out with musical instruments. Some with food. Some came with food.
Entertaining the crowd that came to vote, just so as to encourage.
They were planning for a new Nigeria.
That's what we want. More calls.
Hello?
Hello?
Yeah, tell us your name and where you're calling us from. Network. How would a man feel spending so much money traveling back home to vote?
I have to say this, even myself, all of us, we have something, one thing or the other we lost. I was supposed to work as for an international observer group, although I later collapsed into the domestic observer. I knew how much I was supposed to be paid. I said no. You should also vote. At least if you vote, you now begin to monitor and then begin to observe. But unfortunately, okay.
Hello. Tell us your name and where you're calling us from. Hello, tell us your name. Tell us your name and where you're calling us from. Huh? Okay, from Nasarawa State. What's the name? Oh, Jesus. Okay, comrade, you were saying something.
Yes, so I knew the amount of money involved. I said no, I have to also vote. As a voter, then you vote, you go ahead to observe domestically.
Hello? Hello, tell us your name. Tell us your name and where you're calling us from. This is Living Television Nigeria Today. Hello?
Hello.
Yeah, tell us your name and where you're calling us from.
I'm calling from Kogi State.
Okay. Go ahead. Your name. Network Wahala.
So,
I hope nobody is trying to sabotage. I hope some people are not trying to sabotage our program.
And told us attempts were made against it in the last election.
Hello, tell us your name and where you're calling us from. This is Living Television Nigeria Today. Yeah, tell us your name.
Okay, my name is Daniel.
Where are you calling us from?
I'm calling you from Mina, Niger State.
Okay. Go ahead.
Okay, good afternoon to all of you.
Good afternoon, sir.
I'm following the program since from inception today.
Okay.
Truly, what other callers have spoken about is really the past. I'm resided in North Central, and the attitude of voters towards the forthcoming election, which is gubernatorial election we have tomorrow, is the same idea that they've all came out to vote in the previous presidential election, and the assurance people got from INEC, well, that's which is the electoral empire, still we are not able to deliver. So the question in the mind of everyone now is, what is the probability that they will not do the same thing that what occurred in the will not occur in the governorship election? As for me, I had to travel where I was staying to take my family down to my family house to be able to vote. Pass the night with my family to be able to vote. In my polling unit, everyone was well coordinated, but we were seeing different things happening in other parts of the country. Even we had issues, we had the security agencies, they were just looking at us, they didn't even care or what was happening. So the question still remains the same, that the same thing will not occur in the governorship election. As I said, quoting other callers, I also decided I won't go to vote. So it is not just that this decision of not going to vote, not coming out to vote, is only
happening in the south, it's also happening around the north. Because people are great, are not happy. How would you stand under the sun you stand under the sun from morning till night? And what came defeated? It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. So that's the big answers I have right now.
Okay, my thank God you've decided
that if law can be enacted for next elections, 2027, put penalties on those people who have been to conduct critical elections. We have people are leaving the country because of all the small things that are happening. Especially in Nigeria. So just as you are community in India, to go out and vote. I think it's good, okay? And even from program, I'm even for state out and vote tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you, my brother. Thank God you've decided to vote. We want to believe God that the best will come. In as much as we are not going to preempt INEC, but because of what is happening throughout the country, Nigeria, and I'm sure even international community, they are not happy with what happened. And I'm sure INEC is going to right the wrongs.
He said something about, that's the area I'm interested. He said something about sanctions.
Thank you very much.
Yes, he mentioned something about sanctions, and I agree entirely. You see, if you go through the gamut of the Electoral Act 2022, you would see several sanctions, punitive measures, detailed out there for wrongful actions, both on the part of the INEC officials and on the part of the citizenry or any other person who flouts the law, including organizations, political parties, and even media houses for wrongful actions or inactions. Now, all through the years since we started the present democracy, that's 1999, the Electoral Act has been replete with some of these provisions. But this last one is about the most comprehensive, has been the most comprehensive. Unfortunately, after the elections, we do not get to see prosecutions. We are having repeated problems in Nigeria because of the failure of sanctions. There are no consequences. Once we begin to have consequences for non-feasance and malfeasance, wrong action or non-action, where you are required to do so, I think things will begin to take a turn for the better. Yeah. After the election, you would see some security agents. Look at what happened in, what is Adeleke's state, where people were, Oshun, where people were caught by DSS and EFCC doing vote buying, engaging in vote buying. Till today, we've not even heard that they've been arraigned in court, talk less of securing a conviction.
Okay, I heard from the commission.
Hello, you're welcome to Living Television. Tell us your name and where you're calling us from.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, sir. You're welcome.
Yeah, I'm a same person, Walter Dressman from River State.
From River State, sir.
Yeah, the same person I just spoke to you some few minutes ago.
Okay, okay.
But what to pass the message?
Okay.
That the whole world will hear. And my message is this. I want the judges to hear from the state. They should not take sides in any judgment. They should be sincere and they should follow evidences and judge in order for us to have a stronger Nigeria. Without this, Nigerians will not be strong. We are not here to vote in, but we are here to vote a capable person that will hold the country and unite everybody. Person that will chase out insurgencies, person that will chase out every horrible thing that has been destabilizing the country. That is why we are casting votes. So please, judges, attention, please. Judge based on the evidence and return certificate of return to 2023 election. Let the country be in peace. Thank you.
Thank you, my brother. Your message is... I
believe the judges have heard. Even if they are not listening to the program, somebody somewhere listening to it will equally pass the information to them and say, see what trended today on a particular program I watched. So you be careful. Those judges equally have relations. They have children who are on social media.
Yes.
They have children who watch on internet and so on. So members of their family, even their wives, their husbands, and so on.
I think they also buy things from the same market.
Yes.
Nobody buys his own stuff from the heavens. They all buy from the same market. Yeah. In fact, we also buy fuel or PMS from the same filling stations. There are places of contact with them, and they are aware that the opinion that Nigeria is seething with opinion, with bitterness, with anger over the development that trailed or that followed this very election. And this should serve a message to INEC, especially somebody like Festus Okoye, the commissioner on voter education and publicity. You see, it's not just enough to collect 2 billion naira from the 305 billion naira given to the commission to conduct the election to educate Nigerians. Yet INEC did not do anything in terms of education except sending text messages. I didn't see INEC go to rural areas, demonstrate to the populace there. This is how we are going to do this. This is how we are going to do that, and this is what diverse even means. You understand? Even some agencies of government that have been collapsed into INEC's electoral structure, like the National Electoral Agency (NOA), did nothing. In fact, let me say it here, and I thank God it's on this platform. On the day of election, the DG of National Electoral Agency was posting pictures of vegetation of somewhere in the north, where they are going for election matter, and was telling Nigerians that Nigeria is a beautiful place. We know that Nigeria is multi-vegetation. Yes, we know that Nigeria is, but your purpose of going there was not to take pictures and begin to tell us to become conservationists or lovers of nature who are advocates of biodiversity. You were there to report on election matter, and that is why you are having an information gap. If Jesus Okoye and the rest of them we collect 2 billion naira and only send these messages to Nigeria, that's an insult. Do better. I didn't see INEC. In fact, what Yaga Africa, a society group did in terms of voter education, it was actually more than what INEC and National Education Agency did. And again, political parties should begin to educate members.
All right, wonderful viewers, and I'm sure you've enjoyed this program. We've even exceeded our time, but because of this influx of calls, from far north, and also even our sister states here in River State and Bayelsa.
Delta.
Those of you who called from Delta, Niger State, Nasarawa, Kogi State, we appreciate that a lot, and we'll continue to keep you posted on this station. And even tomorrow, if God allows, and after our voting, we'll also be back here to analyze most of the things. So our phone lines will also be open. If you fail to be here on Monday for one or two reasons, on Monday we'll also be here to analyze, so that you can as well call in with our analysts around. You can also call in and tell us how it happened in your area. And having said this, we'll be coming to the end of today's program. And let me start with you, comrade. Give us a parting word, especially as regards tomorrow.
Yes, my parting word is this: please, Nigerians, do not give up. Go out and vote. Make sure that you participate in the process. There is hope. If people who are applying or who are operating campaign could win election, if class teachers could win election to National Assembly, it means the dawn is coming. And to INEC, you have one last chance again to redeem your image and to tell Nigerians that yes, we are a neutral electoral umpire. Try to get this right. Do not avail yourself to become instrument and agents of actualizing any political interest. Thank you.
All right, Council, as you also give your parting word, also assure Nigerians that the judiciary is still there.
I still have confidence in our judiciary. You see, the judiciary is equally a product of the society. INEC is a product of the society. But at certain points in time, you get individuals who could be at the head of an organization, the helm of affairs, and By being there, they have opportunity of writing their name in gold. They take the impetus and make that organization to make a change in things. Comrade said so. INEC, you have already disappointed us. You have failed 50%. The only way you can now make a difference is to ensure that the remaining 50%, you get it all completely. Collect any small slip.
Not 49%.
Not 49. They don't have opportunity of scoring again other than just 50. You have failed 50. So 50 already gone, you are now battling for 50. Make sure you collect all the 50 so that in future, when people try to demonize you, we will always say it's 50-50. And for the people...
Sorry, Council, this may be our last call. Yes, please tell us your name, where you're calling us from. This is Living Television. The program is Nigeria Today. Your name and where you're calling us from. Then your contribution. Hello?
Yes.
Network.
For the people, go out again and exercise your franchise.
Hello? Hello?
Hello?
Yeah, go ahead. Tell us your name and where you're calling us from. We missed it.
Exercise your franchise. Don't lose hope. Don't be discouraged. Don't be demoralized. I said earlier that Nigeria is work in progress. I still reiterate that we are work in progress. We will get there. We're not yet there, but don't allow what happened last Saturday to kill the Nigerian dream. I know a lot of people definitely will not come out tomorrow, but as many as would be able to do it, let's keep the faith.
Life, they say, is not computed by its duration, but by its donation. I know a lot of you will want to give up because of what happened on the 25th of February during the presidential election. We have another chance. And INEC have had all you said, all the complaints. I'm sure INEC, listen, they watch this television as well. And also, even if they are not, there is somebody somewhere who had watched it will also tell them what is happening. Don't give up. Go out there tomorrow, make sure you cast your vote. And I am sure this time around, your vote will count. On this note, we are saying bye and keep watching Living Television. From my far left, I have Comrade Nnamdi Lekwachi. Comrade, it's my pleasure having you in the studio.
Thank you so much. The greater pleasure is also mine. Thank you, viewers.
Barrister Chukwuemeka Wago, thank you so much for being part of today's program.
Thank you, moderator, and bye, viewers.
And our wonderful viewers, this is your anchor man, Chinedum Adiele. Have another wonderful day with us. Keep watching Living TV. Bye for now.
Every little thing that goes wrong, we start to blame the government. We know everything that goes wrong because we are part of the government. Let's save Nigeria, so Nigeria won't die. Which way Nigeria? Which way Nigeria? Tell me, which way to go? Which way to go? I love my fatherland. Oh yeah, I want to know which way Nigeria is heading to. Inefficiency and indiscipline is ruining the country now. Corruption here, there and everywhere. Inflation is soaring high. Let's save Nigeria, so Nigeria won't die. Which way Nigeria? Which way Nigeria? Which way to go? Which way to go? I love my fatherland. Oh, sure, sure.